After about 3 years of closing the Nigerian land borders to curb smuggling and proliferation of weapons, the federal government has directed the reopening of 4 land borders. They include Idiroko in Ogun State, Jibea in Katsina, Kamba in Kebbi, and Ikom in Cross River State, to allow for passage of goods and persons. The impact of the closure and the possibilities of reopening these borders is our focus on this episode of Special Report. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo. Days after discussions on issues bordering on the economy, importation and national security, the federal government on August 19, 2019 shut down the nation's land borders. The decision by the federal government in considering the closure entails quite a bit of hard thinking on the impact of such on citizens and the neighboring countries. However, national security comes first. During that period, residents of the border community lament over the extreme hardship they faced due to the restriction, especially in terms of cross-border business, transportation, and logistics, amongst others. The government says no serious and patriotic government will sit and watch its economy destroyed by illegal trade and criminal activities taking place at its over 1,000 illegal and irregular routes into Nigeria, both on land and through the sea.
First vessel we arrested, we had 9 of them. That vessel, was looking like a naval boat. And the initial, when we made the initial contact, the captain made us believe that he was in our waters for normal routine patrol, waiting for a merchant vessel. And he was asked if he was carrying any weapon or other items on board, and he denied until we decided to board to actually confirm, because sometimes, you don't just believe what people tell you. Seeing is believing, so we had to lower our boat and we boarded the ship, and we discovered that there were 5 Nigerians, 3 Greeks, and 1 American. And all these people have questionable passport and origin.
The Benin-Nigeria border porosity, with numerous informal routes beyond the reach of customs and immigration officials on both sides, enable individuals and networks to smuggle goods without detection. The border is over 780 kilometers long and often passes through thick forest and rivers that provide cover for smugglers.
The border closure, as a matter of fact, is a win-win for Nigeria. I'll tell you why. First and foremost, you are not a farmer. Go to Abakaliki and ask the farmers today. Go to Kebbi, ask the farmers of rice today. Go to all parts of Nigeria. There's a rice miller who told me before the closure of the border, he hardly can sell 1 truck of milled rice in 2 months. Since we closed the border, he has not only sold what he had, he is going after farmers to get paddy rice, and people have already putting the money down for him to deliver. This is what we are looking for. When do we begin to think that we must be fed by foreign countries? At what point do we feel we are independent? Any country, any nation that cannot feed itself cannot claim to be independent. That is very true. Because the source of that, once you have a diplomatic row with the country that you are getting your rice from, they will close the tap. And what happens? Chaos in your own country. This is the only government that has now insisted that we must grow Nigeria. We must eat Nigeria. China, that we go there to buy almost everything we buy, close their borders for how many years? 40 years. They closed it to the whole world, and today they are great China. Don't we want to be great Nigeria?
President Muhammadu Buhari is also ensuring that he actualizes one of his campaign promises of pursuing a diversified economy. And to see this through, tough decisions must be made for a greater good. And one of the major areas of interest of the administration is agriculture. The agriculture sector holds the key to food security in the country. And reports from the researchers of the National Bureau of Statistics shows that billions of dollars that could have been used in funding education and providing the much-needed infrastructure are annually expended on the importation of food items. Some of these food items, ironically, could be produced here at home at a cheaper rate.
About 2 weeks before the border closure, the chairman of the Rice Processors Association called me. incidentally, he owns Umza Rice in Kano. He called me and said that all the rice millers and processors are carrying in their warehouses nothing less than 25,000 metric tons of milled rice in their warehouses. That this rice had been unsold because of the smuggling and dumping of rice through Republic of Benin and other border posts that we have in the country. And that he would want us to do something about it. Secondly, we also have some members of the Poultry Association of Nigeria who also complained that they have thousands of crates of eggs that they could not sell, together with even some of the processed chicken that they could not sell, also arising from the problem of smuggling and dumping of poultry products into Nigeria. I am aware also, or I was told also, that after some meetings that were held, in addition to those engagements that we also held, CBN with the president, the border was closed subsequently. Gentlemen of the press, a week after the borders were closed, the same Rice Millers Association, Rice Farmers Association, Rice Millers Association called to tell us that, listen, that all the rice that they had in their warehouses have all been sold. Indeed, a lot of people have been depositing money in their accounts, and they're even telling them, please hold on, don't even pay money yet until we finish processing your rice. The Poultry Association themselves have also come to say, listen, that they have sold all their eggs, they have sold all their processed chicken, and that demand is rising.
Which is why the government included rice on the list of prohibited items for importation to save the much-needed foreign exchange.
The benefit of the border closure on the economy of Nigeria are just used two products, poultry and rice. The benefit is that it has helped to create jobs for our people. It has helped to bring our rice milling, integrated rice mills that we have in the country, also bring them back into business again, and they are making money. Our rural communities are bubbling because there's activity, because rice farmers are able to sell their paddy. The poultry business is also doing well, and also maize farmers who produce maize from which feeds are produced are also doing business. These are the benefits.
In spite of that decision, foreign rice still flooded our local markets at exorbitant prices. Therefore, President Buhari signed the executive order closing the borders. That singular decision has arguably helped in strengthening the economy and improving the nation's local food production.
The idea is to enhance our own food security, to build our own food security, encourage our farmers so that they can grow and sell. And they have been doing that. But certainly, this has become a problem. The drugs that are coming into Nigeria today, 95% of it come through our borders. Porous borders, these guys can take it through any route. Weapons. Mr. Chairman, I make bold to say today, since we closed the border, the acts of banditry has reduced drastically. And our own conclusion is that two things. Either those who create this havoc cross our borders, create this havoc and run back, or the ammunition and arms that they use, which comes at will, is no longer coming. So this act is reducing. The rice that we eat, 95% of it is expired. It's expired rice. Those that goes to buy it are Indians and Lebanese, and they come and rebag these things and send it to us. If you want to test this, cook the two rice, our own Abakaliki rice, and cook the foreign rice. Cover it for 48 hours, tight, and open the two. After 48 hours, you will hear the smell that will come from the foreign rice. It's terrible. It's terrible. That means it's chemicalized and the chemicals have expired, and therefore it becomes poison. So this is what we are trying to protect Nigerians from. And we have to do it. Our job is not only collecting revenue, it's security and the well-being of Nigerians.
Now, rice pyramids are emerging in Kebbi State, Ebonyi State, and a few other states, yet it is only a thing of national pride for our country. But it has also increased its capacity to feed its citizens. The closure of the borders, according to the government, has drastically stopped the dangerous inflow of light weapons and ammunition from all parts of sub-Saharan Africa into the country.
We are not saying that that the border should be closed in perpetuity, but that before the border can be reopened, there must be concrete engagements with countries that are involved in using their ports and their countries as landing ports for bringing in goods that are smuggled into Nigeria. That engagement must be held so that we agree on the basis under which what are the kind of products they can land in their country, because if those products they land in their country is meant for their own local consumption, it's understandable. But the fact that those products are landed in their country and then transshipped or smuggled into Nigeria is something that I'm sure you all agree as Nigerians we should not allow to happen, because it undermines our economic policy, it undermines our own desire to ensure that industries are alive and jobs are created in Nigeria.
While the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, pointed out that 95% of illicit drugs and weapons being used for acts of terrorism and kidnapping in Nigeria coming through the porous borders.
We've been able to cut down by 15%. So we were able to increase 15%, the duty collected from imports. Within the same period, and it's very, very important, we were able to drastically reduce the volume of arms and ammunition that had been coming to the country, through smuggling. Ditto with illicit drugs. And all Nigeria is saying is that please let's respect the protocol on transit. ECOWAS set up a protocol on transit goods, which is very simple, that if a container meant for Nigeria is dropped in Cotonou, the authorities in Benin Republic should escort the container to the customs in Nigeria, in Semeboda. And that way, proper duty will be levied and it will be paid.
Nigeria announced a partial reopening of its land borders on the 16th of December 2020. However, it announced to allow passage by light vehicles and pedestrians only. Taking the issue further, Benin Republic and Nigeria's leaders met in Abuja in January, but the position remained unchanged.
The meeting acknowledged smuggling of goods, humans, as well as human trafficking as collective violation of ECOWAS protocols on ETLS and free movement that pose severe economic and security threats to intra-regional trade and free movement. The delegation, consequently, the meeting took note of all the concerns raised and agreed on the following: establishment of a monitoring and evaluation committee of the three countries with the mandate to ensure actions that would facilitate and enhance the suppression of smuggled goods and other related matters. The Monitoring and Evaluation Committee is to ensure the full implementation of the adopted mandate of the Joint Anti-Smuggling Human Trafficking Committee, and establishment of a joint border patrol team comprising the police, customs, immigration, navy, and state security services of the three countries.
The closure has also cast a shadow over the historic free trade agreement signed by 54 out of the 55 African countries that reached a key operational threshold in July.
On the issue of border closure between Nigeria and Benin, and between Niger and Nigeria, I had already condemned on behalf of Parliament on the occasion of the opening session of the second extraordinary session which held in Monrovia last September. And this because there was a violation of ECOWAS protocol. So I wish therefore to commend the holding of the tripartite meeting between Nigeria, Niger, and Benin here in Abuja only last Thursday. Also, for the first resolution that will roll out a dialogue framework which will take into consideration the aspirations of all parties.
Nigeria as well as Benin are signatories to the pact on the eve of the landmark day. At the Idiroko border post of Ogun State, business activities are yet to be activated despite lifting of ban on commercial operations on the border. Travelers walk through the border post with their badges to the neighboring Benin Republic. The Customs Area Controller explains that modalities are being put in place to ensure effective service delivery with strict anti-smuggling and trade facilitation modalities reached across areas of coverage.
We have reactivated all the modalities for that. You can see right there standing is the chairman of the, is it ANCLA? Or what do you have? ANCLA. So we've had a series of meetings with the customs in Benin Republic, and we are still in the process of putting everything together so that we have seamless movement of goods and services through the border. This is the premier enforcement station in Nigeria, Idiroko, and we have a retinue of officers. We have from federal operations, we have strike force, and we have border drill. And we are the resident officers, and we are all complementing the roles of each other. And since I reported here, running to 3 months now, we have been having, gradual process in our record, in our seizure records. So we are trying our best to curtail smuggling.
Outside the post, commercial motorcycle riders, most of who had returned to farming, are back to business. Some of the youth leaders speak on the over 2-year experience.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy because this situation of closing the border is very, very cumbersome for us, especially we as a citizen of this town. Everything was very, very cumbersome. We can all this business going through border or to any other place, everything was shut down, and everybody was saying negative things on their business, that they don't move, they don't have any other way to feed their home, their business, and their anything financially. Everything was down. Especially me, I'm very, very, because when the border is open, I wasn't around. I was in school then. So as I came back, everywhere was shut down. Border has been improving in grassing. Nothing is in the border, and everywhere was just shut down. Everywhere we are just managing till now. But now that the border has been opened, we are very, very grateful.
We are in celebration, we are in jubilation ever since we had the news. And on Monday when the controller came to open the gate of the border, we were so happy. And we are appreciating the federal government for this they've done for us. Because I can say it, the vast implication of the closure of the border for that 3 years has have a deep negative impact on our people, on our economy. It has had a very negative impact. We've lost many lives. The economy of the local government, of the community is in shambles. Nothing to write home about. Idiroko from the start, people normally came from far place to reside here for businesses and other things. But since the closure of the border, the town is already getting empty, because many people have traveled away from the community. So the community were very happy for this, let me say, kind gesture from the federal government. We really appreciate this. And we want to plead to the federal government once again, because there are many businesses in the border, many trades that are facilitated in the borders. We have the general goods, we have the ETLS, we have the vehicle duty. And as information at hand, we had the wholly lift the suspension on general goods and ETLS.
And the economic impact of the closure on small business owners.
Since the Monday that the border has been opened, we can see there are some shops outside the border that's already closed. Even inside the border, we have some women that sell food items and other things, wares and other accessories like that they've packed away since the closure of the border. But immediately the border was opened on Monday, many of them have moved back. The shops are now opened. So that means people are coming from the Republic of Benin. They are bringing goods from the Republic of Benin. Nigerians, we are taking our goods down to the Republic of Benin as usual. So it helps the economy. The economy of the community is now moving as is it before.
The youth, however, called on the lifting of suspension on vehicle duty, which they said has more economic relevance on residents of the border community.
We are appealing for the federal government to look into the vehicle duty, because that's the key area. Because during the time that everything was still opened, the vehicle duty take more impact in the community, more than the ETLS and the general goods. We have more than 1,000 youths working under different agencies in border during the vehicle duty. But as general goods is concerned, it's only for few people. But the main one is the vehicle duty. So we are appealing to the federal government to look into it, so that we will start our vehicle duty here, which will bring more economy to the community and the entire local government, the Nigerian as a whole.
Residents of GBR local government area of Katsina State sharing the border with Niger Republic are full of appreciation over the federal government's recent directive announcing the reopening of GBR border and Kamba border all in Northwest Zone.
Since we received the news of the opening of the border, everybody is happy in GBR town. You know, today it has been about 6 years that this border has been closed. A lot of our economic activities have been down. Nobody is doing anything. That is why we are recording a lot of insecurity, banditry everywhere, a lot of issues impact. So today we are very happy that the border is going to be reopened. Since we received the letter 2 or 3 days ago, we have been happy.
We usually sensitize people about the do's and the don'ts of the border. So this time around too, we are going to embark on this sensitization campaign with a view to making the community understand their limit.
The visit to GBR border shows that economic activities were seen taking shape, with residents busy accessing the border access without any hindrance, intimidation or harassment from law enforcement agency. In Ikang, a cross-river state border community between Nigeria and Cameroon, residents are calling on the federal government to also lift the ban on sea borders across the nation, as it has been done to land borders, which has also affected Ikong border. They say this will go a long way in alleviating the untold hardship faced by them.
Since the closure of the border for over years plus, we've been facing a lot of untold hardship, such that the people is finding it difficult to survive, because the only means of survival is through the border, trans-border business. Because, you know, when you are in a border town, you also relate with your other partner, business partner over the other side. So that has been the problem. And because of that, it has brought untold hardship to the people. So that is just a situation here. We have shortage of supplies of fish items, seafood, you know. So that is our challenges. And that is what we depend on. That's what we depend on. That is our occupation. The Bakassi people occupations is predominantly fishing. You understand me? So when you stop them from, like, you know, doing their normal trade, like at times people from Cameroon do come here to buy the fish too. So it's really a problem. Like at times when you have a lot of catches here and you don't see the market to sell, so it's also a problem.
Many border affairs experts are of the view that there has been many lessons learned by all concerned with the years of border closure. The Nigerian government and its neighbors should invest in better border security and surveillance and ensure the development and upliftment of border communities that rely on smuggling as a source of livelihood. They claim such measures will no doubt require agreement between the countries concerned on investing in rural development, improving border security and intelligence sharing, tackling corruption among border officials, and correcting economic policies which allows for smuggling. And that's it on this episode of the program. Thanks for your time and, of course, your usual company. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo.